We're ready to rock and roll.
Today on Legends of Rod and Reel, we're going fishing with the best of the best.
There's one.
Famous fishermen like Roland "Oh Son" Martin.
Right in the current.
And saltwater legend like Mark Sosin.
Ooh.
We'll cast with inventive anglers like Rapala's Mark Fisher.
This is a true giant.
Or lure maker Joe Bucher.
G3 means generation 3. I'll make a long cast.
Bassin' man Joe Thomas has a fishing story that's amazing but true. Coming up, you'll meet them all on this edition of Legends of Rod and Reel.
Probably a 70-pounder.
All who seek fish are not created equal. Some anglers who ply the waters possess a passion unbridled, with catching skills unmatched. With all fish, they see eye to eye. They are the Legends of Rod and Reel.
You're going to have catching some really quality fish like this one. I'm going to let him go.
Say fishing legend and sometimes famous names pop to the top. One of those is Roland Martin, "Oh Son."
This is a good point.
You come back, it gets a little bit warmer, and the snook bite.
Another is saltwater icon Mark Sosin.
Man, we have got the sun today.
But let's begin with Johnny Walker. This famous name is on a bottle and on a boat. It's a new day over Galveston, a big day on the Gulf Coast. And the biggest name in fishing in these parts
These fish are scattered all on the bottom right here.
is this fella.
They're just thick here. Yeah. Beautiful fish, too.
Biggest name for two reasons: famous Scotch whiskey and giant red snapper.
Oh, yeah. Oh, there he is, there he is, there he is. He's coming up through the chunk. Right there.
Meet Captain Johnny Walker, 45 plus and aging well.
Finding it. It's the hunt, okay? Just like you're going trying to find a big deer or something like that. I would take a little spin. Let's roll, y'all. It's the hunt, and that's what I like about it. That's a nice fish right there, Dan. That's a 20. You better keep him. You better stop him. It's going to get in the spot.
I got her, baby.
Red snapper is one of the best eating fish in the world. As far as my depth finder, the way my electronics are set up, I'd say I have one of the best platforms here in the world.
When you're running, you can mark up.
He's got good equipment, got a good depth finder, pays attention to it. He's put his time in. He's spent a lot of time on the water. Just seems to really have a knack for finding fish, and big ones.
It's a good fish.
Speaking of good fish, Mark Sosin has been saying that for a half-century, which may make him Mr. Saltwater Angler.
Look at him go. Look at him go. Look at how much line he took. That was a full spool. And you just can't whip him easily. Trick now is to pump them in. I use my thumb here, put a little extra pressure with my thumb. That's why I don't use braid, because I have my hands on the line all the time. I'll do this. You're either working the fish or the fish is working you.
Bonita, nice one though.
With Captain Charlie, Mark Sosin catches another fish and files yet another fishing note in his mind.
I wonder why. It's about an 18-pounder.
Whoa,
No wonder why he pulled so hard.
whoa.
That's a fat boy right there.
Me or the fish?
Fish.
Oh, the fish. All right,
go.
Charlie. I don't take people fishing. I teach fishing. That's what I do, and I'm very serious about it.
50 years later, Mark Sosin's byline is on more than 3,000 articles, plus fishing books from fresh to salt. And one more thing, TV's Saltwater Journal.
Mark Sosin, Saltwater Journal. Pages from the notebook of America's leading authority on saltwater fishing.
We took an approach. I found a hole in the marketplace. Nobody was doing saltwater when I started.
Today, he's honored in the International Fishing Hall of Fame alongside other legends.
Yeah, he's still there. He just swam right back to the boat.
And in South Florida, where he lives, the snook,
Whoa!
well, they still love him.
Barely hooked. Woo!
Speaking of landing the big ones, oh son,
We're ready to rock and roll. Let's go catch a bass.
Roland Martin knows a little about that.
Ease along and see what happens. There's one. There's one. Oh, yeah. Okay. That's a nice one. When you get the big 4 and 5 pounders like this, you know, that's a special fish.
For 4 decades now, bass fishing in America has been synonymous with one fisherman, Roland Martin.
That's a good keeper Okeechobee largemouth.
Today, in the 7th decade, with dozens of bass tournament victories behind, plus being inducted into the International Fishing Hall of Fame, Roland Martin still gets his fishing kicks.
I can make a perfect Roland Martin. I mean, I can make a Roland Martin on television that catches one every cast, that never misses a strike. But in real life, you're not a perfect person, and I'm not a perfect person. So, you know, there's days that I don't catch fish, there's days that I miss fish.
We know Roland, but oh son, you'll always be a legend. Do fishermen have fairy tales that come true?
Oh, yeah. That one just slurped it.
Well, if your name is Mark Fisher, your dreams have come true.
Oh, how pretty is that?
I'm a lucky guy. I mean, I've always worked hard and I've always enjoyed what I do, but opportunities. You know, you do have to be in the right place at the right time. There's no doubt about it.
Once upon a time, on the back streets of Minneapolis, Mark Fisher worked as a sign maker who spent summer weekends bass fishing. Then one day, the sign maker entered a big buck bass tournament, and
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. I mean, I marched up there confident, you know. I had buddies cheering for me, you know. It was a very emotional moment, and it was $50,000.
Mark Fisher's tournament victory was worth more than money. He won a new career.
A buddy of mine called, a gentleman by the name of Tom Mackin. He said, Fish, you ever thought about coming to work for Rapala? And we started talking about what opportunities there were and how I could weave in, and you know.
So I've been around the company for 22 years at this point, and you know, I'm the president of Rapala, and I'll meet people and they'll say, you work for Rapala? And the very first question is, do you know Mark Fisher?
But here, this is basically our test tank. You know, we'll come in here and check lure action.
You know, Mark had a major role in the development of the X-Wrap, you know, really from the concept all the way through development of the lure. And that lure family is now the largest selling lure family among all of the Rapala lures worldwide.
Next, he helped create Rapala's Clackin' Wrap.
It's almost like an addiction. It's just you have to learn more. You want to be out there more. You want to challenge yourself more. You want to learn more. And I think that's what fishing does.
For Rapala's Mark Fisher, fishing also made a dream come true.
I got him. Oh, this is a good one. Unless he's hung in the weeds. Oh, he's stumped. Oh, he's a big one. Oh, look at this mule. This is the biggest one yet. Look at this. Look at the size of this. This is a true giant. Look at this thing. Oh, man. It's a beautiful fish. Not as big as I thought. He's hooked side. It's a good one, though.
The whole reason I think I got started in fishing was because of where I lived.
Legend Joe Bucher's story also begins as a simple angler who simply loved to fish.
You know, I was just fortunate enough to grow up in a small town in southern Wisconsin on a lake.
One day, the Wisconsin angler started casting for muskies, and his life was changed.
You have no idea when you make that cast what could follow your lure in. You know, how big, I mean, it could be a 5-foot fish follow your lure in at any moment. And that's the thing that really got me excited about muskie fishing. When I first saw my first big one follow a little boat, and my knees were shaking, and I was like, I almost dropped the rod. I was like, because I'd never seen anything like that. I was like, oh my gosh, we're talking at a whole different level here. And that's what got me into muskie fishing.
The rest of the story is Joe Bucher became a fishing guide, a muskie magazine editor, and then an inventor of muskie lures, such as the Top Raider.
This building actually originally was where we ran our tackle business. All the local girls, the housewives in the community here, would come in the morning and pick up their bucktails and their wires and their hooks and everything, and then they go home, you know, and then they'd make the lures, and then they'd come back and they'd drop the finished lures off. That's how we ran the business for, 24 years. So it was kind of cool. But then when I sold the business, we took the same building and just turned it into our TV studio. And this is Fishing with Joe Bucher National Headquarters right here.
Joe's show airs through much of the Midwest. He teaches people to fish, not just for muskies, but most other freshwater fish too.
Before I had the TV show, I was a guest on other shows, both Al Lindner and Roland Martin. And Roland Martin in particular, more than once, said, son, he says, you need to get your own show.
Joe's lure building led to a television career boasted by his musical talents.
You catch one muskie, you get one strike early in the day and one strike at the end of the day. And this came right after dark. There he is, beautiful fish too. The old trusty depth raider, great little night fishing bait there, huh?
Muskies and music. For Joe Bucher, it's the makings of a legend.
They're not biting as hard today.
Coming up, you'll meet a pair of legends the hard way. Gary Parsons, walleye guru, and Joe Thomas, a bassin man. You're watching Legends of Rod and Reel.